How are you is such a common question. Probably almost every conversation you have will start with this question. So it's a good idea to know a few different ways that you can respond to this question so you can sound more interesting and have better conversations in English. So in this video, let's look at some better ways to answer that question. How are you? A note before we begin, how are you could be asked in a few different ways. Someone might say, how's it going? How you doing? How's things? But your response can be the same, depending, of course, on how you feel that day. First, we're going to look at things you can say when things are going good. So you want to tell the other person that yes, everything's good, but you want a more interesting response. First up, you could say, pretty good actually. I'm really looking forward to, or I'm excited for, or I'm getting ready for. So you've responded to the question and said, yes, things are pretty good. And then you've moved on to a nice conversation starter saying what exactly it is you're happy about or excited for or looking forward to. Next up, you could say, yeah, not bad. Now, I know that might not seem to convey this idea that things are good, but pay attention to my body language and intonation. Yeah, not bad. Notice the head nod and the intonation. Both these things are really important. If you tell someone you're not bad and you actually mean you're good, it's important that you have that intonation to convey this idea. Yeah, not bad. Things are good. Next up, we've got can't complain. This is maybe a little bit of a humorous response to that question. If you say, I can't complain, it basically means, yep, everything in my life is good. I have no problems to complain about. So, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain. Again, notice that intonation and body language that goes along with that response. The next one we have is, yeah, all right. Again, do you notice how the words aren't really saying, yes, I'm good? All right just means okay, but the way I say it, yeah, all right. I'm smiling, my intonation is going up, so the other person will know from those two things that I am saying, yes, I'm good, things are good, yeah, all right. Next, let's look at some ways you can respond when things are okay. Not good, not bad, just okay. You can say not too bad. Now notice my intonation there. If I said not too bad, my intonation's rising, I've got a smile on my face, that suggests I'm good. But compare it with this. Not too bad. I'm using falling intonation, and the person I'm speaking to would be able to tell, okay, she's okay, but she's not really good. Next is one of my favorites. You can say, I'm all right, plodding along. This might be a very British response to that question. If there's anyone from the US or other English-speaking countries who are watching this video, please do let me know in the comments if you've ever heard this phrase. Yeah, I'm all right, plodding along. It basically means that everything is fine, but there's nothing exciting happening in your life. You're just going about your daily routine, you're plodding along. Things are fine, nothing exciting to report. Next, you can say, I'm hanging in there. This kind of suggests that there might be something a little bit difficult happening in your life at the moment, but it's not terrible and you don't want to complain and you are fine, you're okay. So you say, I'm hanging in there. Next, you can say, I'm okay, pretty busy these days. If you say you're pretty busy, you're not saying that that's a bad thing or a good thing. So it's a bit neutral. I'm okay, pretty busy these days, but things are fine. Now let's look at some phrases you can use when things aren't so good. First up, we've got not so good, to be honest. This is quite a good one because it invites the other person to ask you more questions. If you want to talk about why things aren't so good, it's an invitation for the other person to respond. You could also say, honestly, I've been better. Again, this invites the other person to respond and ask what the problem is. If you say, I've been better, you're telling them that things are not so good in your life right now. Next, is another one which is a very British response to this question. You could say, a bit rubbish actually. Now that word rubbish, I think, is almost exclusively used in British English, so our American friends might not use that one, but you can change the adjective. So rubbish, as you may know, means not good. So if someone asks, how are you? And you say, a bit rubbish actually, it means you're not doing so well. But you could use any other adjective. A bit tired actually, or a bit stressed actually. So if you want to change that adjective to reflect how you're actually feeling, you can do so with that phrase. Finally, you can comment on the day or the week that you've had by saying, I've had a bit of a difficult day, or I've had a bit of a difficult week. You can change that day, week, month, and you can also change the adjective. I've had a bit of a stressful week. I've had a bit of a busy day. So you can comment on the day or week that you've had, and again, invite the other person to respond and maybe ask you why your day was difficult or why it was stressful. Now, these are just a few short ways that you can respond to that question, but what I like about all of these phrases is they invite a conversation to begin. So if you comment on the day or week that you've had by saying, oh, I've had a difficult day, or yeah, things are good, I'm excited about X, it invites the other person to respond and leads into a nice natural conversation. So I'm going to end this video with a challenge for you. The next 10 times someone asks, how are you? Try to use a different response each time and see what kind of conversation comes out from that response. Now, after asking how are you, another common follow-up question is to ask about your weekend, either your plans for the coming weekend or what you did last weekend. For those questions, I have 2 videos where you can practice with me giving nice, natural and fluent answers to both those questions. So those are linked in the comments down below. And please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this to help you improve your English confidence and your speaking fluency.